I'm Robin Gagnon.
And I'm Eric Gagnon, and we sell restaurants. We started the nation's largest restaurant brokerage firm, We Sell Restaurants, over a decade ago. You can find us online at WeSellRestaurants.com.
We're on the radio once a week with the leading authorities in this industry, talking about subjects trending in the restaurant business. Tweet your own questions on our topics while we're on the air to our Twitter handle. You know it, it's Sell Restaurants. Post on our Facebook page at facebook.com/WeSellRestaurants. If we don't get to your question, we'll follow up on our social media channels.
Our goal is to satisfy your appetite for acquisition, feed the need for restaurant reality, and serve up a recipe for business success. If you have any ideas for our show or if you have any comments, you can email me. My email is Eric, E-R-I-C, at WeSellRestaurants.com.
Today, we're talking with Food Network superstar Alton Brown, who is currently taking his show on the road with the Alton Brown Live Tour. In case you've been living under a rock and don't know who he is, Alton Brown is an American television personality, celebrity chef, author, actor, and cinematographer. He is the creator and host of the Food Network television show Good Eats, the host of Iron Chef America, as well as the creator of the miniseries Feasting on Asphalt and Feasting on Waves. Brown is also the host of the new Food Network show Cutthroat Kitchen.
Alton brings a knowledge and enthusiasm for food, the science of cooking, and a humorous approach to his shows. Bon Appetit magazine named him Cooking Teacher of the Year in 2004. He was named Best Food Guru by Atlanta Magazine in 2005, and in 2011 he won the James Beard Award for Best TV Food Personality. In October of 2013, Alton launched the Alton Brown Live, his first national tour, visiting over 45 cities through March of 2014. The show includes stand-up comedy, talk show antics, and multimedia lecture, live music, and extreme food experimentation.
Today's show is going to focus on that national tour, his advice for those entering the business, and what he thinks it takes to be a Food Network star.
In addition to established Food Network star Alton Brown, we're also talking with Patricia Copus, winner of the Food Network's Cupcake Wars Episode 8. We'll have more on Patricia's win and her growing career in just a moment.
Let's start with that Alton Brown interview. The restaurant brokers caught up with him in our Atlanta studios recently.
Here's our interview with the Food Network megastar.
So, Alton, you have this wonderful new event coming to Atlanta, the Edible Inevitable Tour, and you're on stage at the Fox Theater on Friday, February 28th. So tell us all about it.
It is a 2-hour variety show that I've been kind of cooking up in my head for about 6 years. And it is a combination of a lot of wonderful things that, well, I think they're wonderful, that basically I never do on TV. There are a lot of puppets, which my fans like from my show Good Eats. There are some filmed pieces, some stand-up. There are 2 very large and extremely unusual food demonstrations that are scientific in nature, which people would typically expect from me. And something they wouldn't probably expect from me is that me and my trio will be performing 6 of the food songs off of our upcoming CD. That's something that most people are not used to seeing me do. So it's a variety show in the true sense of the word for all ages.
Well, I also heard, Alton, that there's something called the Poncho Zone. I don't know if this is supposed to be a top secret, but can you tell the listeners a little bit about this?
Well, one of our demos, and I'm not going to say what it is, tends to produce a fair amount of airborne particulate matter of a sticky nature.
Wow.
So, it's not that I'm trying to make a mess. It's just that the experiment, when it goes correctly, which is probably about 8 out of 10 times, it goes perfectly, does emit a fair amount of material. So we offer ponchos to the first 2 zones, and all I would say is if you are offered a poncho, I would wear the poncho. I would use it because I'm not paying for dry cleaning, okay? I'm just not going to do it. So there you go. That's all I'm going to say.
That's amazing. And you have this incredible passion for food and the knowledge of the cinema industry that helped you really, our country's grown to love. You're a best-selling author. You have shows on Food Network and the Cooking Channel. But the public just has this insatiable appetite for all things Alton Brown. Can you tell us, what will the man or the brand look like in the next 5 to 10 years? Is this tour the start of a new sort of era in what your brand is going to be about?
You know, it's funny. People that I work with become extraordinarily frustrated with me because I keep insisting I'm a person, not a brand, and I don't know how to manage myself. I do what I do and what I want to do. As opportunities arise, if they work with my skill set, then I try to do them. It's like now I'm hosting an actual, honest to goodness, game show on Food Network called Cutthroat Kitchen, which I'm really proud of because it's very inventive and fun and unique and original. And that just happens to be in my skill set. Doing this live show has been a big challenge, which I also love because I hadn't actually played or sung music in front of people since I was in my 20s. Well, I'm now in my 50s. So, it's taken a lot of practice and a lot of work, but I don't think so much about brand management and audience demographics. I just find something interesting and do it, and hopefully somebody will somewhere along the line give me some money for it so that I can live. I've got more books coming out. I'm working on a kid's book right now. I've got kind of a new digital program that is going to be very much aimed at Good Eats fans that will be launching later in the year, online only. The CD's coming out, and I'm getting ready to do 2 more seasons of Cutthroat Kitchen in the spring. So I'm staying busy, and authenticity of product is so important. If I start trying to manage myself like a brand, I think it'll probably start sucking.
Well, that's interesting. As you know, we're restaurant brokers, and we deal with chefs and different people in the restaurant industry. And I know you've been to a culinary school, but you've never, to my knowledge at least, owned or worked in a restaurant, and you went straight into this cooking passion for the show business. Why is that?
Well, I've worked in a lot of restaurants. I've worked in a lot of restaurants. I trained under some pretty tough, screaming French guys. So that I've done. Did I own any of those restaurants? Most certainly not. I was too busy scrubbing the dumpsters and working the line and mopping out the walk-in and breaking down sides of beef and things like that. So I know that life very well, the restaurant life. But owning a restaurant, I'm not saying it'll never happen. It's not where let's put it this way. I've built my career on trying to develop and establish a unique set of skills. There are a lot of great restaurants, and there are a lot of great restaurateurs. I would rather concentrate as much of my time as possible on my unique attributes before I do something like that. Now, I would love to do it, but I'm such a control freak that I would probably just live in it. I would never go home, and then my wife would hate me, and things would kind of go downhill. But it could happen.
And I suspect the menu would change every single day because you'd always be creating something unique and new.
I hate restaurants where that happens. I like restaurants where the menu doesn't change for 20 years. It's like, because if I get to where I really like something, I want to have it every time I go there.
That's
and I'll
right.
do that. I will go to a restaurant and have the exact same thing every time I go.
I'm the same way. I'm the exact same way.
Because it's like, I find comfort in that, we've got a restaurant up in East Cobb that's really wonderful called Seed. And I eat the same thing every time I go to Seed. They don't even ask me anymore.
Well,
I'm going to have the chicken schnitzel on arugula with the miso mustard sauce. That is what I'm going to have. You can tell me I'm going to have something else, but I'm not. That's what I'm going to have. So I'm fine with that.
Good. You also, since we're on that topic of restaurants, let me ask you this: would you have any advice for a aspiring young chef, for the aspiring somebody to own a restaurant? Would you have a quick piece of advice for them from your perspective, which is very different than most?
I will pass on a piece of wisdom given to me by Chef Bobby Flay the day that I met him in 1999. Bobby Flay told me, best advice that I've ever had in my entire life: never take from a partner what you can borrow from a bank.
Wow, very deep.
Yeah.
That is brilliant because, we sell restaurants for a living, and 90% of the problems that we see when folks come to us and say, I have to move this quickly or I need to get out of the business is because of a partnership issue. And sometimes that's a marriage, a husband and wife, but many times it's a couple of guys that go in the best of friends and end up at the closing table. We've got them in separate rooms because they can't even sign documents together.
Exactly. Money, banks just want their money.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But friends, you're investing a piece of yourself, a piece of your friendship, and you're really putting yourself out there that way.
Yeah, it's dangerous stuff. I would never do it.
Now, Eric found a quote online that said, "You love God, motorcycle, airplanes, and family," not necessarily in that order. And we understand,
like me.
yeah, we understand why God's in the mix, because flying airplanes and riding motorcycles are a little risky. Tell us.
You need some God when you got that going on. Yeah.
Now, do you consider yourself a risk taker in business and in life?
Yes.
And
yes.
What's the riskiest thing you've done in your professional career?
When I decided to give up my career directing TV commercials to go to culinary school.
Yeah, that was a big change of
That was
purpose.
the big rolling of the dice, the great, as we call it, the great rolling of the dice.
But it
and
seems
everyone said I was nuts, except for my wife.
Well, you know what? That's what wives are for.
You know, Alton, I had the same thing. I became a restaurant broker because I've noticed nobody, there's no career, there's no path, and nobody grows up to be a restaurant broker. And I told my wife, this is what I'm going to do. She was supportive, and everybody else around me, I quit corporate America, says, are you okay? Do you need some kind of therapy at this time?
Yeah. I mean, literally, there was almost intervention in my side of the world because I already had a career. But I had a feeling. It was like, you know what? Making TV shows about food is going to be big.
You were right about that.
I feel it in my bones. And so, made the call, did it, rolled the dice. And you have to do that sometimes in life.
Well, and many restaurants will transition between multiple owners or fail at a higher rate than maybe some other types of business. But the one thing that we see over and over again is that people bring such a passion to this business. And if they believe in their idea and in themselves, then sometimes that passion will outweigh really good sense decisions that anyone on the sidelines would really caution them against.
And that's what makes it all so brilliant.
Absolutely.
You know, Alton, you've seen, with Iron Chef, the best chefs in the world right in front of your own eyes, and most people can spend, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars and couldn't even get the same opportunity, even they pay to go to each of these restaurants. What do you see as a big common trait as one that all these chefs have in common? They're passionate. You can see them on TV. I can feel it through my TV screen, how passionate, how focused they are, even if Rob and I get to see them in their kitchens. But what is the biggest thing you see that all these guys have in common that somebody can say, hey, this is what it takes to make it to that level?
A cold, dispassionate understanding of themselves and what their capabilities are. They know who they are, and they know what they can do when they do it. Success is not about your dreams. I tell young people, I say, look, I don't hear about your dreams. I don't care about your dreams. You're not a precious snowflake, okay? It's about understanding your capabilities and what you can do and what you can develop. You look at guys like Mario Batali and Bobby Flay and the Michael Simons of the world, Jose Andres, all these guys. Yes, they have talent, but that is such a small. If life were a car, talent would be like the ignition key. That's it. It's not the engine. It's not the chassis. It doesn't make anything go. That is self-awareness, hard work, and understanding. And you know what? Most of the really passionate chefs I've known have blown out, burned out, and gone away. Because passion in and of itself is just a power. It's like gasoline. You set it on fire, you burn. It's about control. It's about awareness and understanding. And knowing how to build a skill set and market that skill set properly. It's a cold, dispassionate thing.
And is that the message you deliver when you're mentoring folks who show up and want to be the next Food Network star? Is that the kind of tough love you give them as you talk them through the process or talk them off the ledge, as the case may be?
No, I never say it quite like that. The thing that always shocks me about Food Network Star, and I'm in the middle of a season of Food Network Star right now, is that everybody thinks it's easy.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Those of us that are professionals work to make it look easy. It's kind of like if Tiger Woods had a golf camp and everybody came thinking, well, golf must be easy because he makes it look easy. I'm not saying I'm Tiger Woods, but I'm always shocked at the fact that people just think, well, I love cooking. Well, I don't give a crap if you love cooking. Everybody loves cooking. That's what they'll say. Oh, I'm unique because I just love cooking. I love people. And I'm like, look, so freaking what? But don't we all? You think that makes you unique? You think that makes you special? Doesn't. So I'm always surprised by how little they're actually prepared for any of the things that you actually have to do to be on TV or to do this kind of thing professionally. It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination.
Alton, if you ever have a day off, I know you never do, but you need to come and hang out with me for a day and talk to some of these restaurant owners that we talk to. I mean, we speak the same language. We make it look easy. We tell them, you and your 5 friends love your hamburger, but you need to have 5,000 friends a day to make it a living.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that.
I tell people, when people tell me, I'm going to quit my job and go to culinary school because I just love cooking, and I say, well, guess what? You're about to fall out of love with cooking. Because, no, I'm serious. I mean, there's so few people can actually make that transition. It's not what people think it is. In the restaurant world and anything having to do with food, and quite frankly, anything that you love, the quickest way to fall out of love with something is to do it for a living.
Absolutely. I think
it takes discipline to stay in love. It's like marriage. Love, when you're in marriage, love is a verb. It's a thing you do, not a condition you live in. You do it. You make the choice to do it every day. I probably don't have to tell you guys this. And it's the same thing with this. Same thing with any job that's based on passion.
Great words of advice. And I don't want to lose sight of the discussion about your great tour that's coming to the Fox Theater on February 28th, because we're going to be on the air about 2 weeks in advance of that date.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yes. So we want to make sure folks know where and how to get tickets and get on board so that they can come and see the show.
The easiest way is to go to altonbrowntour.com. It's all right there.
Oh, yes. And I saw some great videos on there, too.
There are a few videos on there. Yeah, you're right.
There's a few videos, and you are sold out of VIP tickets. Robin and I will be the one in front of the Fox scalping for 2 VIP tickets on that night.
Well, fantastic. I may slip out and sell you a few. I'll wear a disguise. I'll have a long hat and a big tall hat on or something.
There you go. I'll be the one with, looking like a guy that's lost on the middle of the Peachtree Street. So it should be a great show, and it should be a lot of fun, definitely. And I really like what your wisdom and the candor that you're giving here to our listeners, because we try to do the same thing, and sometimes, like you said, you got to, depending on the person, soft deliver some of these messages. But at the end of the day, the underlying tone is that it is more than just cooking. And if you're going to be a restaurateur, like you said, there's a million moving parts.
Yeah,
just like
absolutely
your show. Look at the Food Network star. These guys can cook. They're pretty good cook. I mean, all of them. We watch that show religiously. Our Mesa is a good friend of ours. That is from Atlanta, and we followed him and supported him. And but when you get in front of the camera, you see a whole different part of this.
Completely different.
I mean, like you said, you cut the light off on them, and they go, "Oh my God," and they stop, and like you said, the show must go on, and it's all this. Now, you just said you have a new series in the taping right now. Anybody from Atlanta or from Georgia? Can you share?
Not going to share yet.
Uh-oh. We always look for the local favorites, obviously. I
know, but I am a little secretive on this one at this point.
Oh, okay. Good. Well, we can't wait to see.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, thanks for your time, guys.
Thank you so much, Alton. We are looking forward to seeing you in Atlanta at the Fox Theater on the 28th. Still get your tickets online and check in more to see what's happening in the world of Alton Brown. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you.
You just heard it straight from his mouth. That was the world of Alton Brown. That was so great. Thanks so much.
It was great advice from the mind of a mega Food Network star, Alton Brown, where we're also joined today by a rising star in the industry, Patricia Copus, winner of the Food Network Cupcake Award Season 8. In 2011, at an early age, Patricia had the curiosity of learning how to bake. She took classes as a child, and she also decided that the cake decorating was her favorite. After graduating with a degree in journalism, Katopes studied 2 years towards a master's in fine arts from Georgia State University. Her education gave her a strong creative base with which to pursue her passions. Now she continues to explore her creativity through her business, providing top-quality cupcakes and a sense of community to sweet-tooth customers all over Atlanta. Patricia, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so Patricia, we just heard it from this megastar, and I think the professionalism from Alton Brown resonates in his answers, and he's quick to note that the national TV stage, it's pretty demanding when it comes to mixing food and TV. And your bio tells us that after 15 years of marriage, you found yourself a single mother of 2 children, but you were inspired by this love of all things creative, passion for baking, and you picked up the whisk and started what we know today as patty cake cupcakes. Now, this was the intriguing part. On a whim, you decided to test your skill against the best in the business and auditioned for Cupcake Wars in January of 2012. You went to battle against a lot more experienced bakers, all judged by a panel of experts, but you immersed the winner of Food Network's Cupcake Wars. Alton Brown does a little mentoring, and he says this world isn't for everyone, but you took the plunge and came out on top. Tell us about it.
Well, when you watch any of those shows, you can see that the stress level is, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 10 plus. Hands down, the most stressful, competitive thing I've ever been involved in. But you dig in deep, and you go and you do what you've prepared to do, and you give it your best shot. And we were very fortunate to have won against more experienced bakers. They were all culinary trained. I was just self-taught, and when I decided to create this business, I just got on the internet and just started scouring through recipes and just got in my own kitchen and started experimenting with recipes, and I was determined to come up with the best cupcake base recipe that I could come up with. And then from having that one base recipe, was able to get on the show, and we were thrown different challenges and different ingredients to work with, was able to take that recipe and make some wonderful design, very flavorful cupcakes.
I'm curious, how do you even get on the show? Do you just bake some cupcakes, get on a plane, go to New York, and knock on the Food Network door, says, hey, is this good enough to be a contestant?
Well,
how does that go?
It's all on a videotape. If you went to YouTube and Googled Cupcake War audition tapes, you would probably see thousands of them pop up from all over the country. And it's just a 2-minute tape. They just want to see you having fun with your partner in your own either home kitchen or in your commercial kitchen baking. I think it was more based on a personality thing than it was even them tasting our cupcakes initially. I think they felt like if you were brave enough to submit a tape, you must make fairly decent cupcakes. So that was the audition process. And then once they get in touch with you, it's a whirlwind. You're out in Los Angeles within a matter of a few days, and you're on set and you're ready to go.
Wow. Okay, so now I want to ask you the really important question. What was the flavor of that winning cupcake that you put together?
Well, for each show, you create 4 cupcakes.
Right.
And we had a Thai and Asian theme because each show is centered around a nonprofit organization, and ours was an organization called Wild Aid, and they protect endangered animals.
Okay.
Mostly in Thailand and in the Asian countries. So we were working with curries and tamarind, lemongrass, really exotic spices, carmine, just some really fun, unique ingredients that we had never worked with before, tropical fruits, coconut. So we incorporated all those ingredients to make 4 very tasty cupcakes.
And you have to do this really, the time is real, right? Because sometimes there's no way. So you have 30 minutes, take all these ingredients, just stick your finger in it, and it's like, okay, I like the flavor, or I don't, or oh my God, what do I do? More cumin. I mean, I wouldn't know where to begin to put cumin in a cupcake myself.
Right.
That is amazing. So it was, so how do you get inspired in 30 minutes?
I think your adrenaline just kicks in, and you see a buzz going around you, and you just kind of catch the wave with everyone else, and you just go to town and try not to overdo it with your ingredients, and get spot on with just adding a little of this and adding a little of that, and if you're lucky with that time pressure, you end up with a great product.
But it's not just taste; they also have to look beautiful, right?
They do. So you have to come up with some very attractive garnishes to put on top, and we were even from the pantry that they supplied us with, we took dried papaya and dried pineapple and rolled it out and grabbed some cookie cutters and made little dried fruit flowers, and we were just making barks with different colors of chocolate. And it's after it's over, you look back and you say, how did we do that? What did we do? It's a very surreal experience.
Wow. Okay, so this is different, the reality of filming a show versus the reality of actually cooking in your home kitchen. I mean,
yeah, 2 different worlds.
Yeah. Yes. How many hours did it take to film the show versus that 60 seconds that we see get to the air, or 60 minutes we see get to the air?
Well, it was, depending on how long you went into the competition, it turned out to be a 16-hour day for my sister and I. Wow. They picked us up at our hotel about 5 a.m., and I think we got dropped off somewhere about midnight, and stayed in our pajamas for about 3 days after that.
I don't blame you.
Yes.
Hey, I think we're going to take a quick break right now, and but we want to come back and talk some more. We've had the Mega Food Network star Alton Brown today, and also an up-and-coming Cupcake Wars winner here with the Restaurant Brokers, but we'll be back in just a moment. We'll take a moment to thank one of our sponsors, today's restaurant, the Food Service Industry Newspaper. They are the trade newspaper for the food service industry in Georgia and Florida, available in print and online. You're on the air with Eric and Robin Gagnon. We are the Restaurant Brokers. We'll be back right after the break with more from Food Network stars.